Hello everybody, this is Maniac Vorbricks, and I'm here today with set number 70900, the Joker Balloonscape from the Lego Batman movie from 2017. This is ages 6 to 12, has 124 pieces, includes 2 minifigures, and as I record this video, this was retailing at Toys R Us for about $18 in the United States. It is on the high side when you consider the price per piece and the number of figures per price, and all those sorts of factors, but I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of a lower price when we get to see it in other retailers. As we do know, Toys R Us does inflate it by a few dollars, so it may be closer towards maybe $12 to $15 at best. So, as we go into the set, I wanted to point out some of the things from the instructions in the back that I found pretty interesting. So the first thing we have here, as has been mentioned by others on YouTube and other social media, is that you can combine several LEGO Batman movie sets of roughly a $20 price of each of them in order to combine and make this cool scene in the Gotham area. So this is a nice way to combine all the different figures, and you can have a nice little area. You know, definitely the highlight is just adding all these together, and they do have parts here and there that seem to illustrate that, as you can see by the open clip on that side. Now, there's also a little bit for Build Something Batman, and a little advertisement for the Lego movie, or Lego Batman movie rather, on their website, as some of the other sets coming out, and even the DC Superheroes line in general. This is pretty much just a second DC Superheroes line, just a lot more emphasis on Batman than anything else, but still, you know, nice to get a lot more cooler accessories and more versions of different Batman figures. Now, I also wanted to mention for this review that, first of all, this is the first Lego Batman movie review that I'm doing, so I'm really excited for it. But also wanted to mention that as far as the packaging goes, this is the box that you get in order to keep these capes in. As in, you open this up, you'll get those capes inside of there, and the coat tail. So, just be careful when opening it up so you don't accidentally rip the capes. But it did seem to be a good way of storing them in their packaging. Let that be said, and let's just move on to the minifigures. So let's start things off by having a quick look at Batman. And from what I can tell early on, I don't know if this is true for the other LEGO Batman sets, but this one has a couple of exclusive face prints, and they look pretty nice. We'll take a look at those in just a moment. I'd like to address that this is a softer version of the cape, which is more recent superhero sets, and it works pretty nicely. It's just a nicer fabric, and in general, I am really digging them. I know a lot of older ones, they usually tatter or they rip a bit, so this should be pretty nice quality. I do like the new belt piece that goes with Batman. I can't tell, but it might be a relatively newer print for the torso because of said belt piece. I don't think it's going to be one that's going to be different from many of the other Lego Batman movie sets. It's mostly going to look the same for him. I did find a little bit of trouble with fitting the belt on because of the orientation. You see, it does have some nice detail front and back for it, as you can see there, and also some back printing on the torso, but I just couldn't see as far as the little pockets on it that well. So when I first started building this, I actually had the thing upside down. It is a little bit precise, and it is nice for, you know, the added detail, but you do have to be careful as far as how the latches are lined up just to fit it on the right way. And it does look a little bit similar in the back as well. They also have a nice grappling hook to go along with him, which is a nice Batman item that they showed in the Lego movie, and I can see it's going to get some use in the Lego Batman movie as well. So I wonder if he actually has just one of them, maybe he has a couple of them. I believe in one of the trailers it showed that he had 2 of them when referring to this scene, in fact. So I'm sure that there's probably a whole bunch, the same way he would have like dozens of Batarangs as well. So the face on the front I really do like thus far. Nice expression on him. And it reminds me from the Lego movie of when they're sitting in the submarine and Batman just, you know, reacts to Emmett's double-decker couch. So that kind of expression of, what the heck is that? Now let's take a look at the back. You can see his alternate face at there, and just fit this back on so you can see how the eyes line up. I really do think it's a fun thing that I think they're kind of joking about when it comes to how the white is kind of like his pupils for Batman. And I think a bunch of iterations have done a little bit with it, so this is a lot more fun to poke at it in the Lego Batman movie. I'd also like to just show you what the front also looks like without the cowl. And for both sides, looks pretty good. Nice version of Lego Batman. Before we get to the Joker on his own, let's take a look at him with the balloon that he has for escaping. So this is a pretty intricate design, and it is probably a nice, tight, packed way to put a whole bunch of pieces together. I really do like this because of the Joker's personality for the movie. I really do see what he's going to be when the movie comes out. This is obviously recorded before the movie, and the balloon by itself just shows everything that I need to know. He's obviously playful with all these different colors for balloons, which are nice reuses of pieces from the Angry Birds line. We also have, some nice green added in little areas behind him. And you also have these long coattails. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this before we get to the actual minifigure, is that these coattails do seem to ride a little bit when it comes to holding the minifigure up. And if you were to actually stand this thing up without any of the trans-clear pieces I have underneath, it actually is very back heavy, so it would fall over pretty easily. Even if you had it on a studded surface, it would also might do a little bit of creasing for the coattails, so it's a bit of a catch-22 as far as that goes. But I really do like this cloth piece because it adds so much to his character. I kind of think of the Joker for the Batman movie, at least as far as I'm interpreting it before seeing it in February of 2016, the best that I can see it is that he is trying to be like Batman. He is out in the limelight, he's trying to get attention, he's got extravagant designs for all kinds of contraptions. He's still having a plotting and scheming nature to him, but he's just trying to win attention of Batman. As we kind of saw in the trailers, when he gets upset that Batman says he likes to fight around with multiple villains and other heroes. So, he's just trying to be Batman's #1 arch nemesis. At least that's what I'm getting from this. So, as far as the balloon design, I really do like all the pieces they put throughout here. I like the inclusion of these paint little rollers that help for kind of the levers for the balloon. You can also adjust each of these balloon pieces back and forth. So, looks pretty good. Good addition for the Joker's weapons. Or should I say, just vehicles in general. So now that we've separated the Joker from his balloon escape, here is a closer look at the Joker. I really do like the expressiveness that's not only on his face and hair, but also along his outfit. It has a nice, unique look to it, and I'm sure that, I've heard some people say they're not really big fans of how his face looks, but I think it's supposed to be for the context of it being very comical, very kind of childish, really. And there is an alternate face on the back of him as well. You can see right there. So we got a nice big grin and those kind of razor-sharp looking teeth. Again, I think it's supposed to drum up some of the comedy that's going with the movie. So, as we look back around the front, also just really nice hairpiece. I hope that's done in a couple other colors, because that would be really nice to see. Let me just see if I can just get another look at the front. And you can see the coattail goes pretty long. It's a nice exaggerated look for him. And I do like how the printing goes right through from the legs to the torso very nicely. The coattail does uninterrupt it a little bit, but not too bad. And I don't see anything that's printed on the back of him, so we'll move on to the rest of the set. So now let's take a look at the reason why the set exists. There is a supposed time bomb that the Joker has set in the Gotham Electric Company and is set to explode. We actually do get the explosion feature with this set, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. What I find first pretty peculiar about this set is that on the back of the box, they actually show that this time bomb is underwater, and Batman is going underwater somewhere to retrieve it. I'm not really sure if that's supposed to be the movie connotation or just show that you can take this off from the assembly, which you can. The actual instructions show you that you build it separately and you clip it onto one piece on the other side. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. As far as this assembly, I don't really see too many newer pieces, except there is this tan piece that's in here. It's a 2x4 piece. It has a couple of Technic holes underneath it, so it makes it easy for that tapping function that you normally see in different Lego sets. You also get this as a sticker, and you get this there as a sticker as well. I really do like that computer. We'll take a look back at that in a bit. The tubing here is a newer type of tubing that allows Technic axles to fit into them. So that is very cool to see in this set, and I would love to get more of those just because it's a cool piece to add some detail in different scenarios. So first off, we got the Technic, the little explosion right here. And for mine, I threw all the extra pieces inside of that little barrel. So that's why it looks like a bigger explosion than it normally just would be two shells opening up. So I thought that would be a lot more fun to show, be it on camera or otherwise. But this piece along here is actually one piece. If I just take this tile off, you can see a little bit more about that. Just for the moment, to see how that looks. And that actually is pretty interesting. I'm sure they'll use that a couple more times in 2017. I'm looking forward to more uses outside of this play feature. Now, if we go back to the other side, we have this small computer. I'm not really sure what type of computer it's supposed to be, but it does have some sort of retro, almost like vintage look to it. Maybe it's like one of the early types of computers, like an early Mac or something like that. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, so you can let me know in the comments below if you can figure out what that's supposed to be. But I do like the inclusion of that in this set. It's just a nice mini build that you can add in just about anywhere. Going back to the time bomb itself, you can take this whole thing apart from this yellow railing, and you could just have that leaving there, like so. And the bomb itself, you could probably just carry that around just by the sticks of dynamite underneath. It is a very nice assembly for it, a nice exaggerated look, something reminiscent of the Joker, of course, because it's just so much detail to it. And the green bits on the side kind of make me wonder if it's supposed to have more than just an explosion, but maybe some sort of Joker gas involved with it too. Now, looking back at these tubing pieces, these are pretty interesting. You know, you could move those about, and you also have the nice little wheel on here. You can actually spin that around if you wanted to. So that works up right next to the tank very nicely. I think it's a pretty nice assembly. It got a lot of little features onto it, and a lot of little assemblies as well. So it does a pretty good job for this smaller range set. So in between takes for this review, I looked up on Brickset.com, and I found out that in other retailers, this set goes for about $15 in the United States. So that means my version was actually a little bit inflated when I bought it. So it's not great, but at least it gives it a little bit better review for all of you out there if you want to get this set. Personally, I think the $15 price point is okay for this set, considering the minifigures that you get, especially. I don't really think there's any other LEGO Batman movie sets that have this version of the Joker, especially with the torso, legs, and the coattails. There may be ones with different faces, obviously, but I don't think they're going to have the exact same combination of parts and prints as you see here. The Batman that's also included in here, I'm pretty sure is exclusive in terms of printing for his head. The rest of it is pretty much going to be the same, so that's okay by me. That's just like how Emmett was in the LEGO movie theme. Most of it was pretty much the same, except for the faces. So this does a really good job for having a couple different things to build in the set, a couple things to play with, the actual like playing feature, exploding this tank. I like the miniature build for the computer. I like how it's in an older style because we don't really see it that much in LEGO. I also kind of wonder how this is supposed to take place because, you know, sometimes Batman is set in like the roaring 20s or the early 30s or 40s at sometimes, and other times it seems like it's set in more modern age, like, you know, maybe in the 21st century or something like that. So a computer like that kind of makes me wonder, like, why would it still be operating if it's more of a modern version of Batman? But I digress. The balloon is a nice build. It is something that's kind of hard to stand up with the Joker on its own. You'll probably put it on a base plate to get more stability out of it, but even then, just be careful. The coattails, I would say, are a great accent, but I don't think they're an essential part because, like I've said before, it's kind of hard to stand the Joker up, whether or not he's on the balloon when you have the coattails attached to him. And it's a little bit difficult to fit them on there because you have like this piece on the... There's like this cutout in the middle that you put on first, and then you have these two ends to the sides that wrap around. Kind of like how they do for the skirts for collectible minifigures. And I tried to give you an impression of how it would look if you wanted to stand them up with the coattails. So you have to actually fold a little bit on the back of it. It will give a few creases over time, but there's an impression of it. And it kind of just stood up on the left side like that, so it kind of just has a more, you know, flowing effect, more motion that's added into the figure here, which I think is okay. But, like I said, I'd probably just use the figure on its own if I was to stand him up like so, without the coattails attached. So, thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts about the set are in the comments down below. You can check out other LEGO Batman sets that I've reviewed in a playlist that I've now made on the channel. There's a link in the description below for that. And it not only has other LEGO Batman sets, but also LEGO Batman merchandise. For example, I reviewed, I believe, a play and collect type of package, the little bundle for a LEGO Batman set and video game. So you can check out some exclusive stuff like that as well on the channel. There will be another LEGO Batman movie set coming up today, so give me some time to review the Catwoman Catcycle Chase. We'll see you next time with more LEGO videos.